Are you looking for enterprise architect interview questions? If so, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Mike Gibbs. I'm an enterprise architect with a little over 25 years experience, and today we're releasing a video on enterprise architect interview questions. I'll be going over 5 questions, and I'm going to be giving you the kind of answers that'll get you hired. And in some cases, I'll be explaining why we ask these questions and why they're such common enterprise architect interview questions. The first question that I'm going to ask in this video, which is commonly asked, is what is the difference between an enterprise architect, a solutions architect, and a platform architect? And here's why we ask this question. Architecture is one of those confused careers. Many people don't know what we do. They confuse architecture with engineering. They confuse solution architecture with enterprise architecture. So this gives us a chance to level set and ask the person, what is the difference between an enterprise architect, solutions architect, and platform architect? And it'll tell us whether they know, and do they know how to work together in the team of architects. Well, actually, generally speaking, lead that team. So the kind of answer that's going to work is an enterprise architect operates at the strategic enterprise level, meaning across the entire organization. And the function of the enterprise architect is to create competitive advantage by aligning business strategy with technology strategy. And that means we'll be defining enterprise architecture principles, standards, and ultimately where that organization will be in the future. We'll be overseeing technology portfolios, governance models, and transformation initiatives. And our whole role is to enhance the organization's business capabilities, determine the organization's operating models, and come up with a long-term technology direction. And then the solutions architect, they are a resource that operates at the project or the initiative level. So they're going to be designing the technical architecture for a specific project or a specific solution. And they will be ensuring that the solution aligns with the enterprise architecture standards and principles we've created as enterprise architects. They're going to work much closer with development teams and product owners and delivery organizations because they're going to be more focused on the actual architecture and the implementation architectures. Now, the platform architect is going to be responsible for the design and evolution of an organization's entire technology platform in that platform. So a multi-cloud architect would be responsible for that organization's private clouds, public clouds, and all of their clouds. So here, the platform architect is going to define architecture standards for platforms such as cloud architecture or data platforms or integration architectures or even security architecture. And they'll make sure that the platforms are scalable, resilient, and secure and reusable across the enterprise. And they're going to be enabling those solutions teams to be building on standardized enterprise capabilities or guidelines. So that's really the play of the platform architect, the security architect, and an enterprise architect. Now, because in an enterprise architect role, you're going to be mentoring, grooming, and developing others, this question is commonly asked of enterprise architects on interviews. And the answer is, how do you mentor and develop other architects? Now, here's how I would answer it. I would say that developing architects is one of the most critical parts of my role as an enterprise architect or a chief architect. In fact, I have worked for decades to help teach architects to be better architects. And I define that by thinking business first, technology second, helping the architects understand how technology decisions will impact risk, revenue, cost, and even customer experience. And what I'd like to do is give those more junior architects opportunities to start presenting their architectures to bigger stakeholders as we mold them, ultimately to executive stakeholders at some point. And I work really hard to make sure that my executives develop the strong communication skills, the strong skills in sales, and the ability to exercise influence. And I really coach them to go beyond technical depth and much more into strategic thinking. So the next enterprise architect interview question in this video will be, what is the biggest mistake organizations make with enterprise architecture? Here's the reason we're asking this question. Many people and many organizations have a great enterprise architecture practice that really helps with digital transformation. Others have what you call architecture theater, where it looks like architecture, but there's no business benefits coming out of it and it's not taken seriously. So that's why we asked this question: what is the biggest mistake organizations make with enterprise architecture? And the way I would answer it is I would say the biggest mistake organizations make is treating enterprise architecture as a documentation function, as opposed to a strategic leadership function. And many organizations have large architecture teams that focus on diagrams and framework documentation and architecture repositories, but they're not involved in strategic decision making. They're documenting. It's almost an ivory tower approach. Now, when that happens, what ultimately happens is the enterprise architecture team and organization becomes completely disconnected from the business, and it loses credibility. So a successful enterprise architecture organization will be deeply involved in strategic planning, technology investment decisions, digital transformation initiatives, and enterprise platform strategy. And we need to make sure that the architects are there. The architects have the business acumen, the leadership, and the executive relevance and presence to be able to achieve these things. Because architecture should provide clear direction, it should provide guardrails, but it shouldn't become a bottleneck, and it sure shouldn't become a documentation function. Architecture is an enabler is a strategic business enabler. It's there to provide competitive advantage. It's not a checkbox or a compliance exercise. The next enterprise architect interview question will be, what does great enterprise architecture look like in a mature organization? And we want to see if you've ever been part of a great enterprise architect or organization or have the characteristics to fit there. So that's why we asked this question. So the way I would answer the question, what does great enterprise architecture look like in a mature organization? I would say in a mature organization, enterprise architecture operates as a strategic function, and it directly supports executive decision making. So I have some characteristics that I would use to describe strong enterprise architecture. Now, first is that all architecture is designed to business strategy and business transformation initiatives. The technology investments are going to be prioritized based on what kind of business value they will add or what kind of risk they will reduce. So that means we're going to have clear architecture principles and standards, and that means we will define very well our technology platforms and our architectural guardrails, because the goal is to enhance speed as we're doing things. We'll make sure our teams understand the technology direction of the enterprise so they can support the direction of the enterprise. And we will make sure that our architectural roles are well defined. In that, we will have our enterprise architects focused on strategy and governance. We will make sure our platform architects are managing shared enterprise platforms. And we will make sure that our solutions architects are being focused on driving that last implementation, making sure that the product set is right and the implementation strategy is right. And we're not going to confuse these roles. Because architecture, we need to make sure that it's there, and a mature organization will build on shared platforms. So they're not reinventing the wheel. They're not paying 2 or 3 times. They have systems that are integrated well so they can get the max value out of them. They will have strong security, and it's all going to be there to reduce duplication, which adds complexity, increases cost, and we want to accelerate delivery. So if you really think of architecture, that it should be embedded in all parts of decision making, where architecture leaders are there with business strategists and are always involved in technology investment decisions, transformation programs, and any kind of strategic platform. So I hope you enjoyed this video on enterprise architect interview questions. Now, if you'd like to become an enterprise architect or a multi-cloud architect or a security architect or an AI architect, we hold 2 completely free architecture webinars each week. You can register for one of these weekly or bi-weekly architecture webinars by going to the link in the description of this video. Just sign up, And you will join me on a webinar on Zoom. We will talk about what we do as architects in these webinars, the skills you need as an architect, what hiring managers are looking for in an architect, and many more things to help you build your architect career. And like I said, that's for cloud architect roles, enterprise architect roles, security architect roles, AI architect roles. And it's on Zoom, so you can ask any question you like, and we'll answer them real time. We also have complete architecture training programs for enterprise architect careers and security architect careers and other architect careers. And you can check them out on our website, gocloudcareers.com. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit the bell to be notified of new videos to assist you in your architecture career. This is Mike Gibbs signing off for now, and I hope to see you in a new video real soon or a free webinar on Zoom. Take care.